where Romulans bearing gifts.
Hi, this is Eric,
This is Carl.
And this is Caleb.
and welcome back to this recreation deck presented by Romulans Bearing Gifts, number 3. What is this? So, this is the third one, but obviously, these usually don't have introductions because normally they're just stuff that's picked up from, our in between conversations. But this time, I just wanted to take a little bit of time just to focus on one little thing that's come out. It came out about a week ago at time of recording. And that's the Roddenberry archive, which is something that has already been in existence before now, but I was completely unaware of it until last week. But they've been talking about it or putting stuff into it since at least 6 months ago, and perhaps even prior to that. I'll explain more if you have no idea what I'm talking about. But first, we'll talk about the latest release that just came out to the YouTube channel. I don't know how you say the name of the company, OTOY, Otoy, I don't know. But that's the name of the company that is doing this project, and that's how you can search them out on YouTube to see the 15 or so things they've uploaded to the channel thus far. And so the latest edition is titled 765874 or Regenerations. It's just barely 2 minutes and change. So everyone here has seen it. What did you guys think?
It was cool. It was cool. I don't know if I have too much to say, but I think as a tech demo, it was very impressive and had some emotional weight to boost.
It was an interesting point in time to revisit because, honestly, I hadn't even really thought about the fact that we did not get to see how Spock responded or reacted to the loss of Kirk. It hadn't occurred to me, and so to finally get a moment to see what that was like, and of course, now that we've lost Nimoy, and just to go back to that moment and to and just to see that little brief clip was very powerful, very powerful.
I agree with all that, of course. But to me, the main thing was in the little clip was just kind of the aesthetic, because obviously they put a lot of care into it. It looks state of the art. But that being said, it doesn't look anything like the other state of the art visuals we've had in recent years with the Paramount Plus Star Trek stuff. It is so different looking while cutting edge at the same time. And that's something that stood out to me.
Well, so you mean like a different style? What is it about it that seems different to you?
Well, because first of all, like the color palette
Okay.
is so much more muted. Everything or most things in the Paramount Plus live action universe have like heightened reds and blues everywhere. Not to mention things like lens flare and other fancy camera angles. But it's almost like a whole different visual language, even though the Paramount Plus series, especially when they do like long expanse shots or exterior shots, CGI or not, I mean, they look fantastic, but it's a whole different style language than what we see in this short.
Well, okay, I agree, and I see that too. But look at the two clips of crashed 1701D Spock, and then his earlier, his what was that Trek 3 era Spock that's going on.
Yes.
The very interesting thing is, it appears to me that they are recreating the visual style of those eras. So if you see Crash 1701D Spock, that feels like Generations. It's the color palette, it's the resolution, it's the fabric. It feels like, Star Trek Generations era. But then when you see younger Spock in Contemplation back in, I guess, Trek 3 era, the look, the colors, that feels like the palette of that time and of that era. So maybe that's what it is that they're trying to do. This, they're all about the archive. They're all about trying to accurately recreate in great detail these different times in Trek. So, I go back and look, because I agree.
No, yeah. I think you're
agree
right
that it doesn't, it does not look like the modern Trek or the Abrams and the lens flare, but it had a very familiar feel to it. And then once you called it out, I'm like, well, why is that? Okay, because it looks like next gen. It looks like the crossover one with Generations, and it takes me back to Trek 3. So I think that's kind of what
it does harken back to those older properties and older times, and I think that's part of it. But I think that's not all of it, though.
All right.
And also because I happen to have seen Generations recently, now released in 4K,
of course,
which of course is better than ever. But it still has a 90s touch to it, as it should. The movie. But it's funny because just before this conversation, we were talking about a little bit about Dune and Denis Villeneuve, and actually it looks almost more like Dune, the modern movie, or not, or reminiscent of. And that's kind of like what's jumping out at me, is because even though it does harken back to Generations and Star Trek 3, it's also channeling something else that's modern, which is, I don't know, I'm just going to call it neo-realism or something. Because it looks cutting edge, but it looks like documentary footage as opposed to Paramount Plus Trek, which is obviously like dramatic action flair. But this looks like it's documentary, with a very static camera and like the minuscule like sound Foley effects. It's just kind of there, and it adds a certain type of realism. Now, did you guys happen to look at the other clips that are currently uploaded, the little one, the ones that harken back to The Cage and Star Trek Phase 2?
Oh wow, no,
it's been a while. I did, but it's been a long time since I've seen them. So,
well, just for the sake of y'all in the audience, so there's these other little clips and they're really brief for the most part. But when I first saw them, I thought it was lost archival footage from the actual Cage, and I thought it was like unused footage from the canceled Star Trek. I thought it was authentic footage. But when you go and watch the little docs that accompany them, none of it is original material. Holy shit, but it looks like it's real archival footage. And it's really incredible. It's not very long, but I encourage people to go check it out. They cast an actress to play Yeoman Colt, who was in the original Cage. She's the one with red hair, like the really young female crew member with red hair. And see, I thought it was real footage because I thought that was the real actress, like shot it like in 64 or 65. But it's actually not the same actress. It's someone present day who just looks like her doppelganger, kind of like Mon Mothma in like the newer Star Wars stuff. She just looks so much like the original. And with those little clips, now they were very much trying to copy the aesthetic for The Cage and Phase 2. And with The Cage little reels they put together, they actually got the original director of The Cage to help supervise these recreations, which is completely nuts because the guy is like pushing 80 something right now.
Wow.
It's absolutely flabbergasting, this stuff. And then you see Yeoman Colt, because that's who she was in The Cage. But when they do Phase 2, they bring the character Colt into Phase 2 and make her like Lieutenant Colt or something like that. And it's actually a different actress to play the older version, even though she looks like she is the same person, just, 10 or 15 years older. Um, and she's acting along with Nimoy, who looks exactly like Nimoy the motion picture. And it's new footage. And do you guys know how they did it? And hint, it's not CGI.
Okay. No. How they do it? No.
It's actually an actor who looks a lot like Nimoy, who is wearing prosthetic, like a la Mission Impossible. And he looks exactly. You would not be able to tell that it is not Nimoy from the motion picture.
That's amazing.
And it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. So go check that out. The other thing that was flabbergasting. So not only and I don't even know why they're making these live action shorts. Because it almost seems like they want to make something like something that you're actually going to watch.
Well, from what I understand, they're trying to create like an interactive archive of Star Trek spaces. So, right, you can go back and explore the different versions of the Enterprise.
Oh, we'll get to that in one moment.
So, yeah.
So, yes, they're trying to create like a museum/archive. A lot of it online, like an online experience, but I think some of it is going to be translated into like a physical experience as well. I think, but with how extravagant some of these little shorts are, it also makes you wonder if they're thinking of producing something else. And when you watch the little docs that are attached, so they're taking all of Roddenberry's materials, like he has like millions upon millions of drawings and transcripts of things, physical objects, and they're digitizing everything from models to sketches. But they're not just digitizing it in the regular way, like the models. You have to watch the doc. They're doing this special 3D imagery where it doesn't just like capture it three-dimensionally, but it captures like the lighting from every angle. So with these highly intricate 3D models, they can go back and recreate these things in this virtual space with virtual lighting because they know exactly how they look because they've already been photographed in every angle with every lighting already. And then what's really curious is they show the character, I forget his name, from the animated series, the helmsman that has 3 arms, who replaced Chekhov.
Right. Yep.
Erex.
They show like a live action-y, quote unquote, iteration of him.
Oh, wow.
And then the commentator or whoever's narrating says, with all these digital assets, and not only that, but they're recreating all the sets virtually in 3D as well. And when I say all the sets, I mean the motion picture. I mean Phase 2 Star Trek that was never produced. I mean the animated series bridge, like everything. They're recreating like in crazy virtual 3D like lifelike resolution. And the narrator says, with these assets, potentially we could live action animate the entire animated series in live action, but CGI generated. And he just says it like a throwaway line. And I'm like, what are they talking about? Because that is unheard of. You know what I mean? Like a live action, but CGI generated program. And he's like, yeah, we could redo the whole animated series and make it like the canonical season 4 in live action. And I'm like, what are they talking about? And like recreating all the, obviously the old actors, like age appropriate and everything. And it seems like such a weird thing to just throw out and just lay out there, like, unless you're really thinking about doing it. And one final thing that I just discovered yesterday, if you go to the website for Otoy, they just released the virtual tours of all the enterprises. And so you can go to whatever Enterprise bridge. And we're not talking about 4 or 5. We're talking about like 17 different bridges or so here. Because not only are there the ones that you're aware of or that you would think of, but like obvious things, like just for the TOS, they have about 6 different bridges because how much the bridge changed from the pilot through the end of season 3. So there's like 5 or 6 different bridges just for the TOS era. But there's the bridge for Star Trek 1 through 6, plus the Enterprise B and Generations, the Enterprise C, the Enterprise D, and multiple variations of it from TNG series. However, there is a missing. They did not do the Enterprise D from Generations specifically. I don't know why, but they omitted that one. Of course, you have the E, but it's slightly different in what is it called? First Contact, and then Insurrection and Nemesis. They had the Strange New Worlds bridge, and of course, it was different in Discovery versus the actual series Strange New Worlds, or I mean, it was altered. But not only that, do you remember, Carl, in the rec deck on the motion picture, how we couldn't really see it clearly, but there was like the Enterprise, there was the Enterprise space shuttle, and then there was the Enterprise that had like the circular ring around it.
Yes, right. Mm-hmm.
They have the bridge for that Enterprise craft.
Wow.
They have the bridge for the original TOS Enterprise as commanded by Captain April, which is completely different from the cage, and this obviously precedes it. They have the Phase 2 bridge, and they have the I don't know what you want to call it, the concept for the bridge when the Enterprise was going to look like the Discovery ship.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's a bit of a different bridge too. And all these different bridges, you can go into them like Google Earth style, and you can sit in whatever chair you want to sit in. You can walk around. You can go into the turbo lifts of most of them. In the more modern Enterprises, you can go into the observation lounge. I mean, you can literally move yourself around like you're in a first person shooter. And it's just absolutely fantastic. And specifically in the Strange New Worlds, the version that was in the Discovery show, I always love doing. You can navigate into places that you would never see in the series, like because of where they're located, the camera would never go there. So I got to go in some hidden nooks and crannies inside that bridge. And also on the TNG bridge, I was able to go through some turbolift doors and some storage doors that you've never seen inside in the series. But in the tour, you can go into those unseen areas. So
I'll check it out. Sounds very cool.
It's oh, I forgot Enterprise DNX as well, of course, is there. So it's all there. Check it out. Where's this all going? I mean, because this is just a teaser for something exactly I don't know what in the future.
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, that was definitely my first question when I was watching it. I was like, what is this, and what are they like building towards with this? Like, it's got to be something. Otherwise, why would Roddenberry estate just kind of team up with them? These tiny little clips like that, it just seems weird.
Yeah, it was actually Roddenberry's grandson who was one of the ones who spearheaded all this, and he inherited all these belongings like from his grandfather. And so, yeah, he got with them, and that's how this all started.
Yeah, and I don't know how I'd feel about them reanimating, in a way, the animated series. That sounds a little bit strange. But if they could bring that tech over to Doctor Who and resurrect all those lost episodes, that'd be fantastic. Because they have so many, what's the telesnap images? I'm not sure what you call those.
Yes. Well, the telesnaps are like the reconstruction. Well, the telesnaps are a thing of themselves, which are used to make the reconstructions.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, if they could use that, resurrect those old episodes, that'd be great. But I like that animated series and its more fantastical animation element. I don't know how some of those ideas would translate to live action. Might be kind of strange.
We've all seen like Leia and Moff Tarkin and things like in Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
Like we've seen characters been resurrected, but a whole entire series. But then when you think about something like The Way of Water and what they're able to achieve with that animation level, maybe, maybe
Yeah, Gemini Man.
Yeah, we don't talk about that, but yeah. um, but yeah, but just for the, I don't know, the narrator just to throw that out. Oh, we could just recreate the whole animated series in live action. Oh, really? You're just gonna put that out there while showing again representations of what the three-armed helmsman would kind of look like.
Weird. How much would that cost to resurrect that whole series? That's just weird.
I don't know, but I'm here for it. I'm here for it. But yeah, oh god, but seeing those scenes, recreated scenes with that character Colt, man, like to go through that much trouble, you're teasing me too much. Because now I want to see the Phase 2 project, you know?
Hmm.
So, yeah, check those things out. Well, there you go. That's it for this Minnesota. I just want to put this out there because I figured there might be other. I mean, you guys hadn't watched all this stuff either, and I'm sure there's other people who may hear this, and you should go check it out for yourself. It's all out there. It's all free.
Nice.
All right. I guess we'll give it a closeout. Well, closing out the show today, this is Eric.
This is Carl.
And this is Caleb.
And until next time,
Regeneration.
Beware Romulans bearing gifts.